Welcome to the Sweet Science of Fighting YouTube channel. James DeLacy here again, back with another breakdown. They seem to all be boxing related right now. I haven't actually found much else outside of, honestly, boxing. It seems boxers are the only one that really film their training, or at least they get their training filmed and it's put up. So we have Dmitry Bivol. This is a longer video. I'll try to skip through it so it's not too long and kind of explain some of his training methods that are going on here. But there are videos. Kickboxers, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, wrestling, anything that you find or come across, send them my way. Put them in the comments, something, whatever it is, and I'll break those down so it's not just boxing all the damn time. But this is just a compilation, it looks like, of someone's just put together just based on random clips on YouTube or clips on his phone. So we'll go through some interesting things here. Some of it is obviously promo. So here we go. This is a nice one here. So this is band assisted explosive push-ups, but it looks like it's more of an extensive variation. Yeah, so band assisted again. So if you don't have medicine balls, or you're looking for an explosive upper body pushing variation or throw, these are really nice. You just tie a band to the top of your rack or a pull-up bar. You put it on, I wouldn't say like a backpack, but it goes over in front of you under your armpits. And then you're going to do explosive push-ups and the band's going to deload your body weight. So that's what you're going to do for speed. And definitely a better variation than doing a body weight on the floor. If you don't have any of that set up, you can do an incline on a bench, which does deload body weight as well. So that's a really nice one you can use, especially for strikers. So we've got some banded rows. That's a nice one. Band isometric holds. Passing the kettlebell around. Looks like some proprioceptive work. Single leg medicine ball slams with the band around the hips. I am assuming they are trying to emphasize single leg triple extension. So the idea of extending the hips, knees, and ankles. Now, triple extension is a bit of a, I guess we could say, controversial idea in sports performance. Many coaches will talk about using the Olympic lifts or jumps to train triple extension, as that is the idea of displaying maximum power. However, in sport, very rarely do you find triple extension, even in sprinters. Sprinters typically don't even triple extend, and they are, projecting themselves horizontally very damn quickly. In boxing, you're also not triple extending in any capacity. However, that doesn't mean not to do it. But the specific exercise, I'm not entirely sure why you would do something like that. So some more core work. Stir the pot. This is a really nice one. Stir the pot. So combines a bit of anti-extension, so resisting the extension, plus anti-rotation, so resisting rotating side to side. This is just some bullshit. Straight up bullshit, balancing on stuff. So the thing that gets people caught up a lot is this idea of balance. I mean, I've even heard jiu-jitsu coaches say stuff like, if you can balance on a Swiss ball, you can balance on someone, or I don't even know what it was. It was pretty nuts. Balance is not balancing on an unstable surface. It doesn't transfer to being more balanced on a stable surface during boxing or any other combat sport. It doesn't work that way. You're not fighting on unstable surfaces either. It just makes no sense to do. It's not going to transfer at all. What else we got going on? Just some stretching, shadow boxing stuff. Medicine ball chest passes to the floor. Nice exercise. Upper body power. Line hops, another good one for ankle stiffness. And I'm not talking about having tight calves. I'm talking the ability to quick or rapidly go from eccentric to concentric. A good way to use elastic energy. This looks like more of a fight promo. These ones, so I went, oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Let's have a look at this. This just looks like some more fight promo stuff, to be honest. What is he catching? Is he catching playing cards? Okay. So I've talked about this a little bit already in some previous videos. Also, if you check out the Sweet Science of Fighting podcast, make sure you check out the latest episode with Scott Steroid, make sure you check out the episode with Sean Mishka, which was a couple of weeks ago. John Mackey, not too long ago as well. But we dive into a lot of the shenanigans that go on in combat sports like this. This idea that dodging, ducking, dodging, and diving wrenches. Hey, I'm sure you've seen dodgeball, right? If you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. However, this is real life, and just because you can react to cards being thrown at you, tennis balls being thrown at you, cones being thrown at you, lights flashing in front of you, means absolutely fuck all when it comes to fight performance or performance in any sport. It does not matter if you have the fastest reaction time in the world to be able to do this. It means nothing. And that doesn't matter what level you are. Beginner, intermediate, advanced, pro, whatever. It means nothing. Training it means nothing. Everything. And there's a reason for this. And I'll say this over and over again. There are some great studies by Warren Young showing that when you compare elite and sub-elite performance in a certain sport, and when you do this, if the elite performers perform better in a certain task or with a certain quality, it usually means that thing is important to the success in that sport. If the sub-elite athlete performs better than the elite athlete in whatever the task or the quality is, then that quality probably isn't that important to success in that sport. So when they compare them in agility-based tasks or change of direction tasks, you'll find that sub-elite athletes tend to show similar or greater performance than elite athletes when it's just change of direction. So think about something like this card thing, just reacting to something and grabbing it out of the air, running to a line and then quickly running back. When you add in a sport-specific stimulus they have to react to, elite athletes in their sport display far greater performance than the sub-elite athletes, which means the sport-specific stimulus is the most important thing in reactive or reaction and agility, which means that reacting to things like cards means nothing. And we talk about this example in the latest podcast, if you check that out, around the pro baseball player that ended up challenging I don't know if it's a pro softball player, a woman softball player. Basically, he was going to hit her out of the park. She basically said that he would not hit her out, or not hit a home run off her pitches. And basically, he was not able to, I think she struck him out with her softball pitches. Now, if you think about baseball, smaller ball and faster pitches, yet he still wasn't able to hit a home run off a softball pitch. And it's because the information that they're receiving is that they've fine-tuned themselves as a baseball batter is far different than what is happening at a softball pitch. And if you're not familiar, a baseball pitch is overhand, softball pitch is underhand. So two completely different things going on there. And that's just a really good way of kind of thinking about that. So that's just some more bullshit. Some rotational stuff. Then we've got this little throwing rocks and stuff. I really like that. That's actually a cool thing. Here we've got some hand and wrist exercises come out. That's a nice one here. Fingers, hands, wrists. Don't do this if you haven't worked up to it. So the rock stuff before that you just saw, I'm going to come back to that in a sec. The rock stuff plus this exercise here, that will be like, I've talked about it in a few other videos, the extensive medicine ball circuits. One of the best things you can do as a striker for your conditioning. Instead of going for long runs all the damn time and doing that, stuff like this. Find a wall. You can literally do this exercise. Boom, boom. 10 to 20 one side, 10 to 20 the other side. Then you come and you do what he's doing with this rock with the medicine ball. Up in the air, like you're throwing uppercuts. Boom. You can do 20 of those. 20 overhead against the wall. Again, it's extensive, meaning it's sub-maximal. So you're literally just doing it. You're just finding a rhythm. It's smooth. And it's not taxing. You can pretty much do the whole thing breathing through your nose. It's low-level aerobic work, but you're getting similar movement patterns to what you're doing in boxing. So it transfers well. So that's something. Think about that. And you can do that for rounds. You can pick multiple exercises, do like 5 rounds of it with minimal rest between rounds. Or you could do 5 rounds of it, but then in between each round, you could shadow box for 5 minutes as an example. And that gives you a really nice low-level aerobic session that is more quote-unquote specific than just doing rowing, running, biking, etc. Which, there's nothing wrong with those things. It just gives you another option. What else we got here? Bulgarian bags. Solid. More medicine balls. Anything else interesting going on here? Oh, here we go. Nice. So this dumbbell bench variation. We actually talk about this specifically. If you search William Wayland on the Sweet Science of Fighting podcast, we talk about this. We've actually talked about oscillatory isometrics quite often on the podcast, but in a different context. So typically when we're talking about oscillatory isometrics, we've talked about that with Graham Morris. We've talked about that with Dan Fichter. We've talked about it with William Wayland. I think there's a couple of others as well. You can go back and check, but it's a really interesting concept. So it's this idea that old Soviet research, they show us not the ability, it's not the ability to produce a lot of force, which is obviously important, but what differentiates the elite performers is the ability to relax faster. And being able to obviously relax the antagonistic or opposite muscle very quickly allows you to switch on and off, increases speed. And there are a few ways to develop that ability. Typically, speed power work is one way. So your plyometrics, your jumps, your throws, etc. But with weights, you can also do it with things like these oscillatory isometrics that they're not ballistic. So it means if you're an older athlete, maybe you have beat up knees, elbows, whatever it is, you can do these things without beating yourself up. And with this one in particular, so typically there's a couple of ways of doing oscillatory isometrics. One of them is you're just doing like a short range of motion, like either advantageous position, which would be, for example, the top of a split squat. So if you're in a split squat position, doing like the top portion, which is like this big, going up and down as fast as you can with bands attached to you. You could do the bottom position and do the same thing. The other option is that Dan Fichter uses, and a few of those guys, is, for example, you'll hold, say, the top of a split squat and you'll tense everything as hard as you can. Then you'll almost release, kind of drop, and then rebound back up. Tension, release, drop. So between reps is slower. The reps are still contract, relax, but it's different to just going up and down. Now this one, which is like a 1 1/4, so it's like a 1 1/4. This can almost be like a regression to that. So instead of using it as almost like a peaking modality, you can use this as a way to kind of build yourself into some of those more speed-based oscillatory isometrics. So you're kind of coming down, then like a quick contract, relax at the bottom, and then pressing up. If you are an older combat athlete, seriously give this one a go. You can do it with bench press bar, you can do it with rows. Squats are a little harder, but you can do it with like single leg stuff. Works well. But yeah, that's definitely worth trying for speed development. Okay, I'm only 5 minutes through this video and it's 13 minutes, so maybe I'll split this into 2 parts. Let's see what else we got going on. Bandit scat. Hey, I actually talked about these in a couple of videos ago. I can't remember who I was talking about with the scatter jumps. So this is just one of the ways you can intensify the lateral scatter jump. So he's got a band here. So he's jumping into the band tension. You can do that to essentially increase the time of that back foot to push. And then you're coming back and having to decelerate at speed, which is nice. Another way you can do it is that you can actually start with the band tension and then you can kind of jump out or jump into the person holding the band. So that way it's almost like an overspeed and then coming back. So there's a bunch of different things you can do. It's a really nice one, that one. Yep, just some isometrics. Nice. Really good for developing stiffness at impact, known as effective mass, among other things. Yeah, there's that scatter jump again. It's like a little circuit going on. Some banded punches. More isometrics. Yeah, the isometric one's good. Just in-range isometrics. So if just as a general overview, so in-range isometrics, when we're talking about punching power, we're typically talking about effective mass. Again, listen to Seth Linetsky and Wes Elliott on the Sweet Science of Fighting podcast. But effective mass is essentially being able to transfer the most momentum or force into the target And the only way to do that is to be able to stiffen at impact, and that's whole body stiffening at impact. So you don't have any, what they call, quote unquote, wobbling mass. And I like to use the example of you hit something with a baseball bat, the baseball bat doesn't deform, all that force goes into the target. Hit something with a pool noodle, that pool noodle wraps around and deforms. You don't get as much force to the target. So you want to be stiff like a baseball bat at contact. And that's what that specific exercise, those end-range isometrics, can help train. There's obviously other ways you can develop that, hitting the heavy bag, hitting the pads, etc. Nice. See the rotational single arm throws. It's a solid exercise too. I don't think there's much else to comment on here. That's a really nice one. Good for the hip flexors to hold that position. Rotation, the abs. Banded dumbbell row. Bird dog dumbbell row. Yeah, I've seen this bird dog kind of row quite often. I don't find any value in it personally. I think you're kind of underdoing the row portion. So you underload the back, the shoulder, and the arms, which you want to kind of overload with the row. And then, honestly, the bird dog I think is one of the most worthless exercises you can do. Yeah, if you're a maybe 70-year-old person who doesn't exercise at all, it's completely sedentary, and you have back pain, okay, I can see why you might do something like that. You're an athlete, or even just active, and you're doing bird dogs for, I don't know, they usually prescribe it for back pain, complete waste of time. And then that's just why I'm just not a fan of doing it like this, but you know, each to their own. Now the band around the wrist is an interesting addition. So typically people will use a band around the wrist to help increase the activation of the lats. So the pulling muscles, so you're not just pulling vertically, you're kind of pulling back towards the hip. Can be valuable, but yeah, does not sold on that exercise. Looks like he's just doing it to help with the shoulder position, so nothing wrong with that. Face pulls, good exercise to do. Upright rows, people still hate upright rows, but great exercise to do if it doesn't hurt. You can try different attachments as well. Looks like some varying hurdles. That's a nice one, that one. Quite like that exercise. What else we got going on? A lot of the same. Oh, yep, some ab wheel with the bands too. Nice. So if you don't have an ab wheel, or you can actually just do it with the bar. So if you just load the bar, you can just do your ab wheel rollouts like that too. I found with the band doesn't make it. I don't want to say it doesn't make it harder. It doesn't make it that much harder on the way back for some reason. It almost just overloads more of your arms and shoulders than your abs. So I typically like to do it without the bands. Let me just skip through here so we're not, because this thing is long. Bench press. Okay, let's go here. It's not part of the conditioning circuit, is it? Some small pulse rotations. Some rollouts. Oh yeah, for grip, that's a nice one with the sandbag. If you have those little sandbag bell things, yeah, this is a nice one for the grip. What else we got? Some more battle rope. And this must be part of the conditioning circuit. Damn, your forearms would be absolutely smashed after something like this. Nice way to develop that hand care. This is a nice one too. I like that. Good little rotation exercise, that one. While having to hold the sandbags. Alright, let's look at one more thing and then hey, okay, here we go. Here's something a little different. Let's start back here. Last thing. Otherwise you guys are going to be watching for too long. So, we got kettlebells. So, I talked about this kettlebell swing in the Jake Paul video and got heaps of hate for it, but people don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So, with the kettlebell swing, it should be a hip hinge, and very rarely should the kettlebell go above your head like this. It was made popular by CrossFit because that's how they can judge a complete rep, but for performance, no. So you want to have very little knee bend. It shouldn't be a squat. It should be a hinge. So the hips have to come back to load the hamstrings, and you attack the zipper of your pants with the kettlebell. So the kettlebell will pretty much come in above your knee or at knee line, and it's going to be pretty high. And you're going to have that kettlebell come through the legs, and you're going to rapidly thrust your hips forward to get that kettlebell to come forward, and your arms stay relaxed. Your arms do nothing. That is there, and your hips kick the kettlebell out into, and you'll finish around shoulder height. It should never really go higher. And then it's going to come back down. You're going to attack the top of your zipper again. And it should be a rapid motion. Whereas see how slow that is, and it just kind of squats up. Like, it doesn't really serve any purpose when you're doing something like that. It's not heavy enough to be strength based. It's not fast enough to be speed or power based. You're better off doing it properly. So here we have a muscle snatch, or a clean grip muscle snatch. So we don't see this often. I really do like them. I really like the muscle variations for grapplers in MMA, but they can be also used in boxing if you know how to do it, etc. So he's doing a clean grip. So typically if you're doing a muscle snatch, you're using a wider grip, right? A snatch grip, you're looking at, if you know the rings on the barbell, just slightly outside, and you're going from the floor to overhead in one motion. The difference between a muscle and say a power or a classical full lift, the muscle snatch, your feet don't leave the ground. So you're literally just standing up and then the bar goes overhead. A power snatch, you're coming up, you're jumping with your feet out to the side, landing with your knees rebent, pulling yourself under the bar, and then with the classical lift, you're pulling yourself all the way to the bottom of the overhead squat. So the muscle snatch is much easier for you to do. He's doing a clean grip variation. So clean grip variation can typically, the bar has to travel further, so you have higher speeds. You have to go lighter because of that. Depending on your shoulders, often the snatch grip actually feels better on the shoulders versus that closer clean grip when you're doing this, but you can play around with either or. But it's a really nice exercise to do. You can use it as part of your power development. Yeah, that's a nice one. And this is still the same. Yeah, that's pretty much the end of it there. But damn, that was 22 minutes of going through only some of this video. But if you enjoyed that, please let me know. If you want more like this, let me know as well. If you want me to do the rest of this video or not. Kind of rambled on there, just trying to find things to talk about within that training. Hopefully it's valuable to you. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.